So welcome back to the Forest of Arden, where we are talking about the transition part of the golf swing when you change from backswing to downswing, and a drill that's going to really give you some great feels for how you're going to shallow out that transition, which just does so many good things for you in your golf swing. Just before we get started, if you're not a subscriber, I'd love you to be part of the channel. There is a link in the description box down below, and it is absolutely free. So the lesson plan today really is to run through a little drill exercise that I've discovered which really helps with this part of the golf swing, give you some great feels. And then we're going to discuss how you can then take that through into your golf swing during practice to really help you with this part of your golf swing. So just quickly before we go through what we're going to try and do, what part of the golf swing are we talking about? Well, we're really addressing those golfers who tend to get the golf club too much inside too early, so too flat or roll too inside. And in the transitional part of their golf swing, they tend to steepen the club shaft and move the club head more out towards the golf ball, creating a steep downswing. Very, very common problem. The traits of those golfers are normally fade shots, slide shots, weak shots, not much power, struggle to rotate through the golf ball. What do we tend to see from the better golfers? As a trend, not in every case, but we tend to see the club a little steeper going back, and in transition, they're actually moving that club head more behind them and towards a shallower angle. So here's the little exercise. All you're going to need is you're going to need an alignment stick such as this one or something very, very similar. And you're just going to hold this alongside the grip of your golf club. Now, as you can imagine, it's going to make my club feel a little bit different in my hands. And we're actually going to get you to take an address with the alignment stick to your trail side. So I'm going to put that under my trail arm and try and get myself roughly addressed to this golf ball. Now, as you can see, that is not anywhere near where I'd address the golf ball because my hands are too far back, but this is a little exercise. So from here, as I start to rotate, if you wanted me to move that club head more behind me, I physically can't because the stick is making contact with my body. If you wanted me to create some wrist hinge, I can make that movement because that stick just slides down my body. So what I'm able to do here is I'm able to rotate, I'm able to use my wrists, I'm not able to use my forearms. Now, when that club gets too far behind you and too rolled, it's the forearms that are getting overactive. Those are the body parts that are creating that club shaft being too flat. So if I create that little setup again, watch what happens if you ask me to, from here, make half to 3/4 of a backswing. I'm going to rotate, I'm going to start moving the club up, and then I'm going to start to use my wrists, and eventually that stick is going to get out past my leg, and then I can start to go up to the top. So the goal really here is to try and feel like the golf club is laid off, so the club shaft is pointing out to the left of my target. But as I do that, just notice the shape of this backswing. I'm always going to be working slightly steeper, and then I'm going to be rotating my forearms much later in that backswing. And if we're looking to shallow in the transition, effectively what we need to do is rotate the forearms much, much later. Because the golfers who have the steep transition, they rotate their forearms too much, and then the forearms start to rotate the opposite way. This is an unbelievably good drill to really give you the sensation of what you should be doing in your backswing. Oh, wrong side of my body. So stick down the grip, and all I'm going to do is just going to start to make some backswings. And you'll start to see that it gets my hands deeper, the club head more out, the shaft much steeper, and then it lays off much later. If you do not make this move in your golf swing, this is going to be an unbelievably good feel for you and what you need to do. Then from here, we're in a great position where we can start to rotate much better and move through into the golf ball. Now, how would you take that through into a golf swing? Because you can imagine you can't really hit golf balls that way. Well, the idea of that little exercise is to really create some good awareness of what you're trying to do. So if we take a golfer who has that poorer backswing move, when we potentially talk to them about what we'd like to see, they've never made that move. They don't know what that feels like. They don't have any awareness of what that's going to feel like to them. That gives them that awareness. So when I'm over the golf ball now, if I'm trying to work on that movement, I've got some sensations and some feels and some ideas that are fresh in my mind that I can try and replicate. So I can now make a golf swing where I feel like I make those same movements. So it's a fantastic way to build some feels whilst you're hitting shots. So a great little practice station might be take that alignment stick and do 5 rehearsals. You then might hit 5 shots. You might do 5 rehearsals, 5 shots. So you're starting to go between the drill and the swing and the drill and the swing to start to blend those two together. Use the feels, try and implement into your swing. So this is something that I would really try and work on, because if you know my golf swing, I do tend to roll the club a little inside. So this is something that I would really work on in my golf swing. That's a pretty good shot. I need to look back at that camera so it looked like, but that's a great drill for me, because I am that golfer who tends to roll the club a little bit inside and steepen it in transition. So alignment stick is all you're going to need. If you feel like you would like to shallow out your transition, that is a great way to do it. And it's one of the best drills I've found for giving the golf the correct feels during their backswing and transition. Thanks for watching. I really hope that drill is helpful to you and something you can take to your practice session. Would love you to comment on this video what you thought, and also give it a thumbs up if you did like it. And finally, please share this with someone who you think could benefit from the information. I'm sure they will appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching, and we will hopefully see you back here again soon.